Happy anniversary! So this video is to document the current condition of these Patagonia-Danner Foot Tractor sticky rubber wading boots. I've owned these boots now for 3 years, and I want to show you the current condition of those boots after that period of time. I have documented their level of wear after 2 years of use, both in a video and a written review that I posted about 1 year ago. I'm following up those posts with both this video and another written review. So just a few comments. This video is not meant to be a standalone review, and it's meant to complement the written review, which provides more detail than I can provide in this video. Secondly, I wanted to make a point that this isn't really, in a way, this video is not intended to be a review. Make your own choices about whether you buy them or not. I don't care. I'm just trying to show you how these boots hold up during the course of wear and what I would consider qualifies as an intensive use. So one other point I wanted to make is that this video is not going to be entertaining. So if you're looking for something flashy music and lights and the sorts of other things that other influencers are trying to do, you're not going to find it here. I'm not an influencer. I'm just trying to show you the state of the boots. Do whatever you want. I don't care. So one last point I wanted to make is that as I would encourage you to look up the past video and review I posted a year ago. I'm not going to revisit all of the details and background that I provide in those videos. I will make reference to to those videos and reviews, and with respect to points of potential wear and such that require follow-up after another year of use. So finally, I wanted to point out that these boots, in reference to some of the previous video, these boots have been cleaned with the Danner boot cleaning solution, but they have not been re-treated with waterproofing agents. So you'll see that they have a bit of a lighter coloration to them in the areas that are most well worn, and a discoloration, and that's from scuffing of the outer surface of the leather, and I talk about that in the previous video. And you'll see in the previous video how all that the appearance of all that changes once you reapply the waterproofing agent, which I will do after shooting this video. So first off, wanted to mention that in the past year, these boots have been on 30 wade fishing trips. I wade fish exclusively in these boots. They've been on 30 trips. 24 of those were full day trips, so about 8 hours a day. 6 of those were half day trips, which are about 4 hours or less. Walking a total of about 119 miles. So that gives us a grand total of mileage on these boots during 3 years of use of 106 trips, totaling 31 of which were half-day trips, and that's a total of 372 miles walked, roughly speaking. So let's just go right into the details here of zooming in and just showing you a close-up shot of each boot so you can see the condition of each and compare that with what you saw for each boot last year in last year's video. So here, that's the toe. We'll start with the right boot. This is the toe area. You can see this is the area that receives the most wear and tear. Plenty of scuffing there. This little tuft of thread, and there's a couple others I'll point out, I noted last year as potential points where stitching might be coming loose. It turns out that in no case where I documented a little bit of tufts of thread like this that were loose last year, in no case have any of them progressed. That is, the stitching in these places has completely held up everywhere on these boots. Excellent stitching, no evidence of issues there whatsoever. Yeah, this is another spot where I saw some tufts of thread from last year. Again, no progression, no change in indication that those threads are coming loose. Just a quick note: you'll see the upper part of the boot is in like new condition basically, and that's because this upper section of the boot, between my fingers here, is always covered by a gravel guard. So it provides a nice comparison for what the leather and the Cordura look like when the boots are new, or pretty much when they're new. So as you can see, most of the wear and tear on the boots, it's in the toes, on the outside of the foot, and on the bottom part on the outside of the foot, and on the heel. With respect to the uppers, overall, the greatest wear, of course, occurs, as you would expect, on the soles. I'll just zoom in on this little crack here. This little crack in the midsole foam. I noted this last year. That crack has not changed since last year. Therefore, I do not believe it is a manufacturing defect. This is due most likely to a sharp branch of some sort cutting into that midsole foam. Since last year, I think some other damage to the midsole foam, such as along here, has occurred, again likely due to abrasion from branches while I'm hiking to various fishing spots. You'll see a little bit of a cut in the surface of the leather here. I believe that was present last year. Again, likely from a branch of some sort. This cut is new. Again, it's a rather superficial cut right here between these two eyelets and in front of this eyelet here. I believe, again, must have been a sharp branch of some sort that sliced into it. This other surface of the leather a little bit, but that's going to, obviously those things can happen. If you're walking around and occasionally got to walk through a little bit of brush. Okay, here's the bottom of the boots. As you can see, I've done quite a bit of walking. There's a number of lugs that are basically completely worn off. I invite you to check out the written reviews, where I give you a little bit more detail on this and try to quantify the rate of wear on these lugs over time during the course of their use. In short, for the areas with the greatest wear, I estimated it was about, the rate of wear on the lugs was about 1.5 millimeters per year. Okay. So the last point I wanted to make about wear and tear on this right boot, well, I guess there's two things I wanted to show you. One other point where I've seen some wear on them pertains to holes developing in the liner in the heel region, and hopefully I can show you this. On this right boot, it's actually a small hole at this point. Hopefully you can see that there. That's the beginnings. That's the beginnings of a hole anyway. That's again in the Achilles heel region of the right boot. That wasn't there. I think maybe there were the early signs of these on the other boot in last year's video if you look closely, but maybe not on this boot. So that's I think a new development for this right boot. The bigger problem, which I couldn't really show you so easily with photographs, is that there's an area here. The toe of these boots is hard. It has a cap that runs basically right about, well, if you can trace my finger here, down like that, roughly speaking, and then around. There's a hard cap of some sort, kind of like maybe plastic, but I don't know if you're going to be able to appreciate this, but there's kind of a, right here where my nail is located, there's an indentation here, a depression. Hopefully you can see that, or make that out in this video here, it turns out it's an area where this cap has caved in on the inside. Maybe it corresponds to the plastic having broken off. I'm not sure, but as a result, there's like a kind of a little bit of a sharp piece of plastic or something that you can feel when you rub your finger along this path on the inside of the boot, like so. There's something that's kind of sharp that sticks out here. I think it has begun to, the little piece has begun to break through the liner there. So it's a spot where there could be potential damage to your to weightier, so all booties and it could also dig into your toe potentially over time, or the side of your foot over time. I guess it corresponds roughly to about the side of what would be the toe, big toe, or kind of the base of the big toe. But I'll see if I can push out on this so that you can, on this area, so you can see where this problem is occurring. So if you can see where that pulsing motion is happening there, that's exactly the spot where this thing has caved in. And if I run my finger, maybe you can see my finger running along the side there. Right there, when I hit this spot here, that's where this thing is poking out and potentially causing a problem. As I note in my written review, this is the only spot I've seen this happening so far. Time will tell if that will grow from there, or if it will happen in other spots on the toe of this boot or the other boot. But anyway, that's another area where there has been wear and tear damage to the boot. Whether that's replaceable or not, I don't know. As I talk about in the review, or in my written comments, they can rebuild a lot of parts of this boot. So I'm waiting to hear from Danner as to what can be done about that. Okay, so let's have a look at the left boot now. for a look at the inside. And on this boot, as I mentioned before, the holes that are in the heel region are larger. That one on the right-hand side there is about 1 inch long. The one on the left is, I don't know, about a 1/4 inch maybe. Maybe a little less than that. Maybe it's 1/8 of an inch, something like that. In any case, those are not good. Those are places obviously where sand and debris can accumulate behind there and potentially grind away between the liner and the inside layer of the leather. And that obviously could accelerate the wear and tear on the boot. Okay, one other point I wanted to bring up regards the laces. Just show you the condition of the laces, which is impressive. These have been great laces. The only of the 2 laces, these are still the original laces. The highest degree of fraying I can see on any lace is right here. On this one lace, which is basically, and it's the part of the lace that's at the very front, at the very lowest eyelets, basically right near the toes, the area of the boot that receives the maximum amount of abrasion and exposure to the bush and such. But the rest of the laces, are in great shape, and so side by side, if we kind of, by comparison, look higher up near the tops of the laces, these are the points where they're not that far off from what they look like when they're new. So it gives you a point of side-by-side comparison of the condition, how they've aged, which is to say that they've aged very well, and I could anticipate probably another couple of years of use at least out of these laces, given this rate of wear. So that's, as I noted in my written documentation, that's impressive, because most lacing I've used will wear out much faster than that. Usually every season I have to replace them on other boots. So hopefully that gives you an idea of some of the things, features of these boots and their condition that I couldn't quite show you as well with the photographs and written documentation. I encourage you to, again, read the written report on these boots. It's much more detailed, will give you much more information. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you out.